Well, joining us on this broadcast on our rolling coverage of the Indo-China talks is a very special guest, Lieutenant General Rakesh Sharma, who is essentially the ex-corps commander of 14 Corps, which is essentially responsible for Ladakh. He's also retired as the Adjutant General of the Army in 2017. Currently, he's a distinguished fellow with the Center for Land Warfare Studies. Lieutenant General Sharma, thank you very much for speaking to Republic TV. Let me also ask you this question. Today, India is essentially being represented by Lieutenant General Harinder Singh. Today, if you were in his position, how would you have really approached this current situation, given the fact that many would say that this is completely unprecedented?
The benefit of knowing what has happened in the course of last 6 odd discussions that have taken place at the commanding officers, colonels level, the brigadiers level, and the majors level. So you know how to prepare and what are the positions that the Chinese have been showing in all this while in the course of last 1 month. Now the fact of the matter is that there are 4 major issues that need to be addressed. First is that they have to withdraw back to the positions 5th of May, which is a status quo ante. The status quo ante in Galwan and Pangong So is very essential, and that must happen. Second is that we have to sort out the protocols. You know, the 1993 treaty and 2005 treaty, both are having problems because there is a the banner drill is not working. Anytime these two parties meet, there is a clash there. They do not disengage and go back. So there is presently no firing has taken place, but it can always take place. So one has to be very cautious and find out what are the protocols that must be put into place.
Lieutenant General Sharma, if I may also ask you, we have seen the kind of reports that have essentially come in the last few weeks, but your understanding of the current situation in Pangong itself, because many would say that perhaps would be the top of the agenda, because we've not seen this in the past. Even in Galwan area, this was an untouched area. Now you're looking at some sort of an aggression on the Galwan area itself. Does that essentially surprise you, that areas which were completely untouched at some point in time is where you're looking at some sort of an aggression?
Okay, Shravan, let me put it this way. Galwan is an area which we have been patrolling even earlier. And the DSDBO road, the Darbuk Shok DBO road existed for a very long time, except that the bridge was not there and we were using the road. The Chinese were aware that the DSDBO road exists and the bridge was being formed. Now and the patrolling on the Galwan Nala, Galwan River has been progressing over a very long time. So he would be knowing all this, that we touched that thing. This time when we started constructing a feeder road, probably a feeder road towards Galwan Nala, and he has roads all over the place. So his objections probably came up because he says, okay, now we are going to have a better access because a bridge across the Shok River has come across, and that anxiety would have come up. This anxiety did not exist before the last summer, August last year, when the thing was formulated. Pangong So, between finger 4 and finger 8, these clashes have taken place for a very long time because we have a road up to finger 3. Between finger 3 and 4, about 1.5 kilometers patch, there is no road, so we walk along the rock face and then we land up at finger 4. Since he's able to see us from across the lake, he sends his team on his vehicle. He comes from Shirijap and puts a banner there that denies us the right to patrol to our line, which is the finger 8 line. Normally we have disengagement and we come back. This time, like previously or 2 years ago also, he didn't disengage. He sat there. Since he sat there, we also sat there, and naturally there was a brawl there, and that brawl led to this position now. We have to find 3 issues here. One is he withdraws back to Sirijap, we come back on area. We must construct the road between finger 3 and finger 4. That walking patch actually causes a lot of problems to us. And the third is, next time that issue takes place, and there are two sides come across between finger 4 and finger 5, we must establish a protocol where this fisticuffs should not take place. Otherwise, at a moment of anger, if something happens, it will be an international incident. And both sides must take forward a step into doing this. Just sitting on finger 4 and finger 5 and establish some kind of a place to sit down must not be acceptable to us. For us, all these things are absolutely important. One way is you say, okay, I'll patrol to finger 8 at my time. You allow me to patrol to finger 8 in my timings. Whatever I want to do it, you will not block me when I'm doing so. And establish a mechanism for it. To deny us is not acceptable at all.
Right. Lieutenant General Rakesh Sharma, who better than you to answer this question with regards to the perception? All this while, many would have seen the look here, the kind of aggression that we have shown on the Pakistan frontier, that's not shown on the Chinese frontier, but things have really changed. Indian Army essentially is no longer the same that we saw in 1962. A lot has changed and we are far well equipped, and you've commanded that very place. So no one better than you to actually explain this, that we are no longer a pushover and we are going to, be head on as far as the Chinese aggression is concerned.
Shaman, you are absolutely right. Let me put it this way, that on the border areas, our strength has become such large, and all has happened largely in the last 8 years. In the last 8 years, there has been a transformation in Eastern Ladakh, and whole lot of commanders have worked. The axials have come up, the laterals have come up, and all over the place, right from top, from Karakora or DBO down south to Chumar and Demchok. So we are in a very excellent state. We have force levels which was unimaginable before 2010. So there is a change here, and so has happened in the northeastern front. We can stand on our feet, look into the eye, and take it on any onslaught he wants to bring it on the border. Second part of the story is China is a technologically advanced nation. And if he doesn't want to fight a border war and he wants to fight a technological war, that's a separate ambit altogether. And that needs to be debated in a separate forum. On the border, I think 62, we will give him a very difficult situation. In fact, we may be coming off winners in many areas all along the border. And I speak about all these 3,500 kilometers of the LAC from one side to other side, only on the borders. I am not talking about the technological issues involved here.
Well, thank you very much, Lieutenant General Rakesh Sharma. It's always a pleasure speaking to you. I'll also request to all my other guests to stay on. Major Gaurav Arya is joining us from the studio, and on Sushant Sareen, who's the Senior Fellow Observer, Research Foundation, joining us live from New Delhi. Saurabh Shukla, a Republic partner and Editor-in-Chief of News Mobile In, and Colonel Shailendra Singh and Major General Bishambar Dayal, all joining us on this broadcast. I need to take a short break. On the other side, we'll continue our rolling coverage.